I see a laurel wreath around the edge and the bust of a figure facing to the right with their nose right about here. Welcome back to Curiosity Detecting. Today it's just me on my own, so no Kevin to find all the coins right from under my nose. I'm actually on a new permission today. It's also in Eastern Ontario, not too far a drive from the property that we were at in episode 6, where Kevin found that nice 1912 George V large cent. We found a ton of oil lamp parts. We were able to trace some of their history. So that was a great outing. This outing, there's a building, which is the one you see behind me here, which was built in 1861, and there was a fair bit of public traffic here over the years. So I have high hopes to see if I might find something interesting. But as always, you don't know until you dig a hole. So I'll see you on the first one. Well, first hole, first coin. It's a 1989 penny. Not very old, but coins are always a good sign. So let's keep digging and see what we can find. Well, a somewhat scratchy 2122 signal, and it looks like an ornamental piece of brass that looks like a rope. I'm not exactly sure what this is from, and there's another signal in the hole, so I'll do a cleanup and a close-up to see if we can get any more detail, but it definitely looks old, which is a really good sign on this property I've never detected before. So let's see what else is in the hole, and I'll come right back if there's something else good. Excellent. No sooner did I say to a passerby that I wasn't finding anything crazy old, out popped this onto my dirt cloth out of the hole. It looks large and round. So, what could it be? It feels too thin to be a large cent. I have no idea what that is. It's very thin. Alright, I'm going to turn the camera off here and do a proper cleanup, and we'll be back. Well, after some cleanup, I think this side is, if not a total loss, it's very difficult, but on the other side, I see a laurel wreath around the edge and the bust of a figure facing to the right with their nose right about here. I have no idea what this is. It's some sort of token, or it looks like the figure has a ribbon in their hair right about there. But this is not obviously not a Canadian circulation coin. It may be some sort of token. I don't know, but I've definitely got a mystery on my hands now to try and figure out. I'll see what else I can dig up on it. All right, wow, that's significantly older than the oldest item I've found. This is 19th century or earlier for sure. Who knows, maybe some sort of trade token, but I'll dig into it and see if I can figure it out. After some gentle cleanup and cross-referencing with numerous coin books and guides, I was amazed to find that this is in fact an English halfpenny token depicting the right-facing bust of King George III, who reigned from 1760 to 1820. This token was actually minted in 1812 in England, and when you look at the cleaned-up reverse of the coin, you can clearly see the date of 1812 at the bottom. As to how this coin came to be sitting in a yard in Eastern Ontario, I also found that in 1832, a Montreal grocer named Joseph Tiffin imported large quantities of this token to the colony of what was then called Lower Canada, for use in local commerce. He imported such a large number of these tokens into Canada that they came to be called Tiffin tokens. The reverse of the coin features a seated female figure representing commerce, and you can even see the letters TOK from the phrase halfpenny token. As for King George III, he's commonly known for two things. The first is losing America as a British colony through the Revolutionary War, and also suffering extreme mental illness for a good part of his life, which is commonly referred to as the madness of King George. Often people do not remember that he played a vital role in some important discoveries near the end of the period of history known as the Enlightenment. The king was an enthusiastic patron of the sciences, or natural philosophy as it was known at that time. He amassed a huge library of scientific books, which is still held to this day by the British Library in London. He actually made a substantial funding contribution personally to help fund Captain James Cook's infamous circumnavigation of the world in 1768. The king also had a special observatory built in London in 1769, so he and the Astronomer Royal, Stephen de Mainbray, could personally observe through a telescope and record the transit of Venus across the sun. This is something that Captain Cook was also tasked to observe from Tahiti during his round-the-world voyage. These two simultaneous observations from different places on the Earth, along with others elsewhere, helped scientists to calculate the size of our solar system. I'm not certain how many opportunities I'll have to find a King George III coin, but this is my first, and it's pretty special. Well, a clean signal right next to the sidewalk here. A couple of nails in the hole, but there's also a non-nail in the hole. Oh, is it going to be an earring? Oh, wow. It's a really nice earring. All right, let's hit it with some spray and see if she looks like silver. Oh, and the worm will be on watch as well. Let's see what it looks like. Is it a junker or is it silver? Is the question. It's tough to tell. All right, I'm going to... oh, I can see daylight through it, so that's not a good sign. All right, I'm going to turn off the camera and do a cleanup. We'll be right back. Well, don't look now, but we're on the silver. The reason I could see daylight through it is that you're meant to see daylight through it. It's a silver earring, and I can tell it's silver by this little marking that says 925 right up by the, which is 92.5% silver, which is sterling silver. So a beautiful open worked earring, and any day where you can find silver is a good day. All right, super happy with that. On to the next. There's the sidewalk, and I got a really clean 2021 signal. I dug a deep plug, which was about 4 inches deep, but then it was inside the plug, and I kept digging and digging and digging inside the plug. Look at that. It must be, it's a key, and it must be made of brass for it to ring up like that. What a fantastic, wow. That is definitely the nicest skeleton key that I found. Now, the fact that it's on this type of wire loop here makes me think that this wasn't dropped that long ago, and also the fact that it was only about maybe 2 inches down. But I'm going to give this a cleanup and see if there are any markings on it, but this is the fanciest. I've only ever found 3, I think, skeleton keys. This is definitely the fanciest one that I found. So I'll do a cleanup and I'll be right back. Well, by now you may know that I enjoy a good relic as much as I enjoy a coin. But all I can say is, wow, look at how ornate this key is. I have no idea what it would be for. It's not a key for a clock or something based on the teeth on it. It actually looks like it fit a designated lock, judging by the irregular way that the teeth are cut. The only marking that I can see in the center is a bunch of dots with some smaller lines above it. At first I thought it was a thistle, but it looks like it's 3-sided. And there is a marking on the other side that's a number 12. So I have absolutely no idea what this key would be for, but it was probably something fairly ornate itself. I'll give you a good look at that number 12 on the other side. It's probably made of brass or bronze. I'm tempted to hit it with a little bit of water, but I don't know. I'm seeing some hints of maybe iron in it. I don't know. But if I'm able to get it cleaned up anymore at home, I'll post some pictures of it. But if anyone has any idea what this type of key or this style of key would be for, I'm all ears. I have no idea. So I am absolutely thrilled with this relic. That made my outing. All right, let's see what else we can find. Once again, a shallow 2021, and I came up with this. It perhaps is a button. I'm gonna have to do some, it's definitely got some kind of stippled or dotted design on it, and maybe it's a concave button. But it was only about 2 inches down, so I'll do some cleanup as much as I can and I'll be right back. Well, the cleanup didn't really yield a lot more, but it definitely has some kind of star or flower pattern on it. I believe it's a broken convex button, but I don't even know. Maybe it was some sort of ornamentation off furniture or something, or I actually might give it a shot of water just to see if I can clean it up anymore. I don't see any maker's marks or anything on it, but one thing is for sure, this thing is old. So you can see in the light that there's this star pattern from the center going outwards in all directions. But I really don't have any idea exactly what it is. It has some iron in it, but it probably has copper in it as well, based on the way it rang up on the detector. But the relics are just flying fast and furious. And if it keeps up like this all day, I'll be a happy camper. All right, on to the next. Well, the next hole is this lovely 1962 young Queen Elizabeth penny. This is probably pretty close to the year where they switched over to the next portrait for Queen Elizabeth. I think she had 4 in all. This one with the ribbon in her hair was the one she had starting at the time of her coronation when she first appeared on Canadian coinage. All right, semi-old penny, we'll take it. On to the next. Well, if the square nails ever staged a rebellion and named their king, this would be the king of the square nails. I think that's the biggest square nail I've ever found. So sometimes square nails sound good when you swing the detector in certain directions and not good in others. But all right, another square nail, another hole. Staring back at me from the hole is this wonderfully clean looking George VI penny. So we'll see what year it is. It's going to be between 1936 and 1952. And it's a 1945. So, coming to the end of the Second World War, where George VI and his wife, Queen Elizabeth, also known as the Queen Mother now, became a favorite of the people because they refused to leave London during the Blitz. And in fact, were in Buckingham Palace when it was bombed. And many credit their defiance of Hitler's Germany in keeping morale high and helping the Allies win the Battle of Britain, for starters, and win the war. All right, very happy with that. On to the next. Normally, a penny a few inches down, a modern penny a few inches down, wouldn't be an exciting thing, but this just so happens to be a 1967 Centennial penny, where it has a bird on it instead of the traditional maple leaf. So in 1967, Royal Canadian Mint put out the regular circulation coins to the public with different reverses on them. There was this gull or bird on the penny, I believe a rabbit on the nickel, a fish on the dime, a lynx on the quarter. I forget what the 50-cent piece was, and of course a silver dollar. But yeah, always happy to find a Centennial. I think this is only the 4th one that I've ever found, a Centennial penny. All right, on to the next. Following the old adage of always check your hole, I found that Centennial penny, and lo and behold, underneath it, another Centennial penny. Now, the odds of that happening, I will probably never find 2 Centennial pennies in the same hole ever again. But to find 2 Centennial pennies in the same hole is definitely something I didn't expect to happen today. Always check your hole to make sure there wasn't a signal left to dig. All right, thrilled with that. On with the next. A clean 27 signal on the Equinox 800, and I found this. It has little dials for fastening it onto something, and I'm going to have to do a bit of cleanup on this, and I'll come back with a close-up, but it's old and probably brass, which is a good sign. All right, let's clean it up. Well, here's this mystery item cleaned up. It's got these 3 screws, some of which actually still move a bit around the edge that it would hold it onto something, I guess, but then it has this inner loop which also has a screw to tighten it. So I'm at a loss for what this is. It looks like it has some really decent age to it. Maybe is it part of an old gas fitting, or so if anyone knows what this could be, leave a comment below the video and we'll see if we can figure it out. a shallow, relatively shallow 2 or 3 inch 2122 signal, and I pulled this out. I can see what looks like a Canadian flag on it, but gonna need to do some cleanup on it, and I'll be right back to see what we have here. Oh, it's got definite fancy. All right, I'll be back soon with a close-up. I'm not certain, is it a pin off a military uniform, or it seems quite large. Well, we know it's from after 1965 because that's when the current Canadian flag was adopted, replacing the red ensign. But I'll do a bit more cleanup on the back here and see if I can get... It doesn't look like I'm going to get much off of the back either. A mystery item, so if anyone knows exactly what this is, it's kind of a regular shape from left to right, almost like it was mounted on the side of something or has a sidedness to it. But leave a comment below if you know what this is, and if I'm able to get any more writing or markings off the back of it, I'll put it up on the screen. But definitely an interesting find. All right, on to the next. Well, another interesting outing to this new property permission, and a great variety of finds. I want to start out by thanking all of you for your fantastic support of the channel. In just under 2 months, we've reached the 100 subscriber mark already, which is definitely a lot faster than I thought it would. This outing in particular, bucket lister for me, was the King George III half-penny token that I found. The first ever coin or token that I've ever found with George III on it. I also found that skeleton key, silver jewelry, miscellaneous other coins, even a Victorian indoor gas lamp fitting. So that was pretty interesting. I never knew what the next hole was going to yield. If you have any comments on any of the objects that I'm trying to identify in the video, or just about the content of the video or the channel in general, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below the video. We've got lots of additional property permissions already lined up for this season, and Kevin and I can't wait to visit them, and can't wait to show you our next adventure. But until then, be kind and stay curious.